is when I see you. Guaranteed to be in ICU. One more time, what's beef? Beef is when...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Smart Tank Revolution, where we always kick out at 2. I am your solo host, orator, and narrator for this segment, Mr. Donnie Wonderful. You all know what time it is. Let's get in it.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow.
Ladies and gentlemen, what is beef? And I'm not talking about medium rare, well done, blue. By the way, does anybody eat their steak blue? If you do, I swear you're borderline vampire, or you just prefer your steak just be still mooing, or something crazy like that. The beef I'm talking about is fights. Fights. Of course, what comes along my suggested reading are these articles that we've developed quite the long playlist for. I've actually narrated a lot of these, but you all are slowly beginning to hear them. But the next few, or the next couple, I should say, are all going to revolve around fights, shoot fights, brothers getting it in, wrestlers getting it in. Now, one of them I'm not going to probably cover because I don't think there's an article on it. If there is, I'm going to find it. That involves the fight between Bret Hart, the greatest wrestler to ever lace up a pair of boots, and I told him this to his face, and he absolutely agreed. Or maybe because I said in a very imposing tone. I tend to be very yeah, yeah. But Brett and Sean had a fight. I'm pretty sure we'll cover that at some point. But this one today is Scott Hall and Marty Jannetty, who I believe is extremely underrated and is the butt of and the punchline of a joke that I think that doesn't necessarily suit him. Marty Jannetty is just as good as Shawn Michaels, only they clearly have made different decisions in the primes of their careers. I'll just leave it at that. I'm pretty sure that you all are smarks along with us, and we know of these things. If you don't know, I think it was the final episode of no, it wasn't the final one, or maybe it was of Dark Side of the Ring. That covers Marty Jannetty pretty elaborately, and I suggest that you all go see that. Nevertheless, back with another article from Pro Wrestling Stories from author Matt Pender. And this one is relatively short, so let me read this. It is Scott Hall takes a sleeping Marty Jannetty by surprise. Ooh, I didn't know about this, or if I heard about it, I definitely forgot it because when I saw that thumbnail, I said, "Oh, really? Those two got into it?" So I'm assuming it's 1993. And the way these goes, I read them, and of course, I interject with my tangents, and then I continue some more. So hopefully, we'll be able to get through the whole thing. The description, if you look in our description box, there will be a link to the article. That's if I don't continue at all. If I don't complete it, you can read it there yourself. If not, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. And don't forget to like the video, and please leave a comment. I'm super curious. We here at Smart Tank Revolution, we're super curious to get your feedback. We love engaging with you, our beautiful, faithful supporters. Thank you. And if you're not subscribed, please accept our invitation to subscribe to the channel. There will be more content like this and amongst others flooding this beautiful platform called YouTube. Shout out to my esteemed colleague, Mr. Joey Business. All right, let's get into this. All right. Scott Hall takes a sleeping Marty Jannetty by surprise. What a title. All right, let's begin. A young and hot-headed Scott Hall was not one to mess with back in the day. This was a memo Marty Jannetty didn't pick up on. And unfortunately, he had to deal with the consequences. Whoa, pause. Damn. This is exactly how we get this is how we start this off. I'm not even mad at that. I'm not even mad at that. And that was, I guess, what was that was a subtitle. There's multiple of these actually. Matt Pender, I like you already, man. I want to read more of your stuff. Shout out to you. All right, now, another title, another subtitle. Scott Hall on his backstage fight with Marty Jannetty. I guess this is really where we start. So before that must have been a preface. This is here. Here's where we really start. All right, let us begin. In an interview with High Spots, Wrestling's Glory Days Facebook page, okay, y'all make sure y'all go check that out. Scott Hall, also known as Razor Ramon in WWE, told of the time he had no choice but to deliver some rough justice to a sleeping Marty Jannetty after Jannetty wronged him behind his back. One time, I got into a scuffle in the locker room with Marty Jannetty, and I beat Marty's I beat Marty's arse. For the kids. All right, resume. Scott Hall continued. There was a dude named DJ Peterson. DJ and Marty were really good buddies. They stayed at a hotel, and when they checked in, they registered as Scott Hall. Then, story has it, they trashed the room. Ooh, I guess that's one reason to hold a grudge and a gripe. All right, let's continue. So now the hotel calls the wrestling office, and the wrestling office calls me. And I didn't even drink back then, brother. I didn't do anything wrong. They said, well, we have a feeling who it was, but we just wanted to check with you. I remember Bob Brown, Bob Bulldog Brown, who was the booker. I said, if I slap Marty around a little bit, am I going to get fired? And he went, slow shake of. Wait. Pause. Oh, man, it's terrible. All right, continue. He said, and he went, shh. I'm sorry. I can't believe they have this in parentheses. And he went, slow shake of the head, no. Damn, man. What in the world? Where was HR for WWF back then? Look at this. Workplace violence, retaliation, right? I'm pretty sure they had the VHS that they had all the wrestlers watch. I know you're all independent contractors, but this is how we got to behave here. Because if you submit a complaint to HR, there's probably Jerry Briscoe, Pat Patterson, and Bruce Pritchard or something. We're going to have to cancel your contract or something like that. This man said slow shake of the head. I can just picture that. If I slap this guy, am I going to get fired? No. This is so messed up, man. It's so messed up. Oh, God. All right. Continue. All I could think about this. I'm sorry. All right. Let me get it together. I'm gonna read this. We do this for you guys, for you. All right. All I could think about was them checking into the hotel and going, "Oh, whose name should we put? Haha, just put Scott Hall." And all day long, it just kept eating at me. I liked Marty, and I thought he liked me, but it hurt my feelings. Oh man. Okay. So I'm such a redneck. When I went to the show that night, I knew I was going to fight. I wore old clothes. I wore my old cowboy boots. I wore a shirt I didn't mind getting blood on, and I went straight to the babyface locker room looking around for him. Wow. There he was, sleeping on a table. I beat the hell out of him, and I fight dirty. I just beat the hell out of him. Marty was a top babyface, so I figured, well, I'm fired now. Screw it. I'll go back to Florida, back to bouncing at strip clubs. I can always get a job doing that. As I was walking under the tunnel back to the heel side, I hear, hey, Steve. It's Harley Race. I turn around, and I'm pumped because I'm 290 pounds. I'm young. I've just been in a fight, and I go, are you talking to me, Harley? Because I figured I'm fired anyway, right? Are you talking to me, Harley? My name is Scott, Scott Hall. I'm sorry, I've been here 6 effing months. My name is Scott Hall. He went nonplussed. Calm down, kid. He's so cool, he comes over. I damaged my knuckle hitting Janetti like a wild man because instead of boxing, I was just wailing, and I jammed my knuckle on my little finger. So Harley reset my knuckle for me. Oh, that's nice of him. And then he goes, "Hey, kid, next time you do that ish, do it after the show. Now, the effing guy can't, I'm sorry, now the effing guy can't work." Oh, man. Oh, man. Good Lord. Okay. Damn. You missed the night of pay for that. I mean, I get it. But, you know, I don't know, actually. All right. So, another subtitle here. Marty Jannetty gives his side of the story. This should be interesting. Buckle up. In an interview with Hannibal TV, Marty Jannetty shared his side of the story. Dave DJ Peterson was one of my best friends in life. He wrestled during the AWA days and made it in WWF 2 for a while. Scott Hall had a mustache thing during his AWA days, and he had the curly hair. Peterson could have actually had a little bit of a Scott Hall look. Oh yeah, and they have pictures of both of them. Yeah, yeah, you guys definitely need to check this out. Check the link in the description. All right, continuing. Well, what Peterson did when he went and checked into a hotel one night, the hotel staff were fans of wrestling. So you got a rate discount. So Peterson went in and said, "Hey, I'm Scott Hall." Makes sense. Especially when you guys see the picture. They don't look anything alike. You know, I'm just saying. They're Caucasian and they have curly hair and a mustache. That fits the the look and demographic of so many people. All right. DJ wasn't known yet. He was just starting out. So this got us the rate as a means to an end. Continuing. We ended up partying up in the room and we had a bunch of girls over. That's how we all get in trouble. Continuing. It was just a typical, young guys party. It was nothing, no, it was nothing, no damage. They actually took it out of my check for $50. I think a lamp had broke. Minimal damage. Well, what we have, I'm sorry. Well, what we had done was taken the top of the bed off and threw it. What the hell? Hold on, wait. All right, let me start that over. Well, what we had done was taken the top of the bed off and threw it on the floor because we had a bunch of people there. So everybody was lying on the box springs, lying on the bed, lying on that bed, you know. It looked much worse than what it actually was. It wasn't really that bad, just the lamp broke, and I got charged for that. The next day was Thursday. I can remember every detail of it. I was still hungover. Of course you are, Marty. And continuing. Back then I used to party. We got to the arena, the Municipal Auditorium in Kansas City, and I was laying on the table taking a nap before my match. It was TV tapings, so I wanted to do real good. I was laying there hungover, like, oh gosh, this hurts. This hurts. I then fell asleep. The next thing I know, I'm on my hands and knees in this dressing room, and I hear a commotion over this noise. And then I see Scott Hall. Like, what the hell is going on? DJ came and got me. He goes, "Come here, man." He told me from the mirror that this pointing under his left eye was cut open. It was like hanging a little bit. My lip was split. I mean, half, a half a foot was here. The other half was over there. And I'm like, what the F? What the hell just happened? What's going on? Well, let's continue to find out how Marty found out he just got his ass whipped. All right, let's see. He said Scott has just come in and started pounding you while you were sleeping. At that point, I got so upset about it. I'm sitting here thinking, so he just beat me up while I was asleep? Scott was a big man, 6'5", and boy, he was jacked back then, man. He was like 280, so a big old boy, especially to my little 5'11" butt. Pause. But good Lord, I mean, come on, man. That ain't nothing you had to beat the man. Well, I guess. Hey, listen, ain't no one's above an ass whooping. I'll tell you that. All right, continuing. I remember going out the. I'm sorry. I remember going out the door and found a little pipe. Oh man! I grabbed the pipe, went across the stage, and Bob Geigel and Bulldog Brown grabbed me. They said, "Where are you going? What are you doing?" I said, "I'm about to go see him." I remember Bulldog said, "Don't do that. You'll just get hurt worse." That pissed me off more, actually, but I wouldn't hit him. They made me go to the hospital and they stitched up. I had to wrestle the next night with Art Cruz. I was stitched up here, points again under his left eye. I then saw Scott Hall. It was at the Kiel Auditorium, and you go up these stairs, and there's like 20 dressing rooms. So you pretty much get your own room, or with one other person in there with you. So I'm stitched up. It just happened the night before. I see Scott Hall. I'm right there in the hallway, and I see him coming, and I'm like, oh, all right. He sees me, and he's like, oh God, here we go. It was the next day. I was still sore. I'm sorry. He comes up and he stops a little bit and goes, I guess we won't go round and round now. Scroll down some, and I'm like, just one more time. Can I please heal first? I was sore as ish. He then apologized. He goes, man, they worked me. He said Bulldog Brown told him that I tore the. Whoa. Oh, this is terrible. All right. Let me continue. He said Bob Brown told him that I tore the room up and put his name on it. First of all, I wouldn't. It wasn't even me who signed in at the hotel. But Bulldog told Scott, you need to let him know he ain't going to do this stuff anymore. Scott said, Marty tried to get you fired. That's what set Scott off enough to do that. And then he apologized. If I had that pipe, I was. Okay, pause 1 second. There you go. Marty Jannetty's literally about to admit that he was about to attempt a murder in the new generation era. Continue. If I had that pipe, I was going to now go off on Bulldog. Oh, well, Harley Race was there that night too. He said, what's going on, kid? That's a terrible Harley Race voice. I apologize. I told him and said, he just did this ish. I'm going to F him up. And he goes, no, no, let me handle it. If I find that he did that to you, I will take care of it. He won't like it. I wanted to take care of it, but with Harley Race, man, I put just put hands up and had to back up. All right, we got to do something about the grammar in this. I know you guys hear me backpedaling and all of that. And I admit, my eyes don't work the way that they used to, especially with the surgery I had. But I've always been an AP English, and I can articulate myself very well. I do call myself, or no. I've been anointed the excellence of elocution. I know how to speak, damn it. Some of these run-on sentences don't make sense. All right, let's continue. We're almost done with this thing. That night in the ring, Art Cruz snap nears me. And you know how you do that pull apart thing with one finger on each side of the mouth and pull? He pulled my face right apart. But yeah, that's what happened with Scott, man. I will agree to this. I admit that maybe they needed to calm me down, but that wasn't the way because I was in there and I was new. I was a wild boy. We were partying with girls doing what rockers do. Okay, there was a little collateral damage, but they just thought I was too wild, and that was their way of calming me down. In hindsight, I get it, but that wasn't the way to do it. The end, ladies and gentlemen. The end. Still encourage you guys to check out the link in the description box just to see the picture of DJ and Scott Hall. Only in the 90s could you have gotten away with that. Because Lord knows, I mean, I would love to try it right now. I'll go across the street to the Ritz Carlton and say, "Hey, I'd like to check into the presidential suite. Oh, what's your name? Barack Obama, Barack Hussein Obama." They'll look me up and down and say, "Huh?" I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Who's that for? who's really at fault here? These wrestling fights, man, I tell you, they always seem to start over some nonsense. A few other ones that come to mind. Oh, this DDP and Scott Steiner. I gotta find that and read that too. Oh no. But the next one, we're gonna let the cat out of the bag. The next one, we're gonna read about Booker T and Batista. That's gonna be next. But if you made it this far on this read along, I applaud you because you're definitely patient. You guys are patient. You're the best. And again, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one.